Hello everybody, and welcome to History Bite number 32, dated September the 5th, 2020. I'm Walter, your mobile historian and blue-collar scholar. This History Bite is entitled The Massachusetts Constitution of 1780. The Massachusetts Constitution of 1780 is the oldest continuously functioning written constitution in the world. Having gone into effect on the 25th of October, 1780, it is nearly 8 years older than the U.S. Constitution, and thus older than all the other state constitutions here in America. Written by American founding father and second U.S. President, John Adams, he presented a document that was more sophisticated in design than any other constitution written to date. Instead of writing a constitution that was just a list of provisions like was common in that era, he instead wrote a document consisting of articles, chapters, and sections. His model would go on to serve as the blueprint for the U.S. Constitution and arguably a litany of other U.S. state constitutions. It is worthy to note that the Massachusetts State Constitution was the last constitution to be written among the 13 original American states. And in spite of that, it is still in effect, all right? Here in Maryland, we have had 4 state constitutions, whereas Massachusetts is still operating on its original of 1780. In Maryland here, we have had a constitution of 1776, 1851, 1864, and presently 1867. Indeed. So our constitution that we're under here today, all right, is 87 years younger than the Massachusetts Constitution of 1780. All right? The Massachusetts Constitution of 1780 to date has been amended only 120 times, which may sound like a lot, but it's really not for a document that's been in effect for 240 years. Okay? Those amendments that have been added have reflected the naturally required changes of the day. All right. The Massachusetts Constitution, being that it was written by a founding father, and that's something no other state can boast, my Constitution was written by a founding father, okay, is a source of pride for the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is why, quite frankly, they have never adopted a new one. Though there have been, at times, calls for a constitutional convention to replace the original Constitution, hasn't ever really gone anywhere, and thankfully, because pretty sure the people of Massachusetts take great pride in saying John Adams, second president, my main man, and a very important founding father wrote this document. All right? So it is, and to me it goes without saying that the Constitutional Convention members who decided that Adams should be the author of that document, a very progressive document which he made sure laid the groundwork for the destruction of slavery in his state, which did occur by the mid-1780s, and a constitution which would promote itself to taking care of the welfare of its citizens, all right, was indeed something that still should be in effect to this day, which to me is why it still is in effect. Adams had great foresight, and he wrote that constitution with great foresight. Back to the issue of slavery, because of the language of the Massachusetts Constitution and Article 1 of its Declaration of Rights, which was slightly amended to make the statement that all men are born free and equal. Because of that provision, by way of judicial holdings, slavery was all but destroyed in Massachusetts by the mid-1780s. And thus, at the Constitutional Convention of 1787, and in the first U.S. Census of 1790, Massachusetts was the only, I repeat, the only American state that could truly call itself, beyond all doubt, truly a free state. Thank you, John Adams, for drafting such a very brilliant and foresighted document in the Massachusetts Constitution of 1780. Thank you all very much for listening to this History Bite. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to it. Please share this information with others. I hope you learned a thing or two from it, and I will talk to you at the next one. Take care.